Welcome, welcome to the Women Celebrating Too Much Women show. My name's Amanda Fitzgerald. I'm also known as Mood of Visibility. And today I have my personal nutritionist. I sound like the royalty. Yes, I'd like to introduce you to this wonderful woman, Kathleen Cornmell, who is known as a registered nutritionist. But gosh, you're known as a lot more than that. So I am going to read out your bio for starters. Kathleen Cornmell is a registered nutritionist specialising in metabolic health. I want to ask you what that is in a minute, so please hold that thought. Type 2 diabetes, weight management, and healthy aging. She helps people to understand the root causes of their health concerns using personalised nutrition, lifestyle medicine, and also blood test analysis. Yes, done that as well. Kathleen is passionate about making nutrition practical, evidence-based, and more importantly, empowering, helping people to take control of their health for the long term. So a big welcome to the Women Celebrating Too Much Women show.
Thank you very much.
Great to
Lovely
be here.
To be here.
Yes. So I said in my intro, or in your intro, what is metabolic health? How would you define that?
Well, I mean, metabolic health is how our body uses energy uses our blood sugar, on our insulin control, our cholesterol, blood pressure, how everything works basically on the inside that we don't really notice is happening all the time. So that changes over time. And it changes when people are not eating terribly healthy. That means that our metabolic health deteriorates because we were perhaps having too much sugar and not enough protein. Protein and fats are super important for increasing our metabolic health. The other thing that really helps is exercise. So that will build our muscle. When we've got more muscle, we've got better metabolic health as well.
And over how long a period of time, if you're eating a lot of sugar and not eating a lot of protein, how long will it take to have an effect on your body, and then what kind of effect could it have?
So, I mean, that's very individual. So very genetic, very individual. So for some people, it will take a long time. For some people, it even happens when they're much younger. That's why some people do. We've even got children with type 2 diabetes, which is really shocking. And that's a lot to do with the food environment, the ultra-processed food, and sugar being in almost every of those ultra-processed foods, which are very easily available to all of us, but particularly to young people. So it can happen right through all of our ages, but mostly it happens to us as women, as we go through menopause, and as men as they go through the andropause, which is the male equivalent of the menopause. So it's when those hormones are changing, because they have a massive impact on our metabolic health as well.
Okay, so it's the luck of the draw with what hormones you've been donned in life. Is that right?
Well, it's a kind of interplay between, if you're doing everything reasonably well, or, as well as we can, then we can get to menopause and, be reasonably healthy. But that metabolic health deteriorates often after menopause because the estrogen is really protective, and it really helps a lot of the systems in the body work better. So when women go through menopause, which is when I often see them, we're looking at blood tests to see, what's changing and what isn't as healthy as it used to be. I know myself that I could do a lot more unhealthy things when I was younger. I could, drink alcohol, perhaps have a little bit more sugar, chocolate, etc. when I was younger. But now that has a much worse impact on how I feel and my weight and those metrics in blood tests.
Okay. And I saw you recently at an event, and you had two, you had two CGMs, continuous glucose monitors on your arms. So, and I've actually worn one as per your instruction, because let's just say, I think my weekly habit of having a pot of marmalade a week, bon maman, I'm sorry, I've no longer got shares in the organisation. I literally had lashings of marmalade on buttered toast every morning. I used to lie in bed dreaming of having my breakfast. Totally changed that around when I got my blood test through, and it showed that I was pre-diabetic, which is when you became my personal nutritionist. So tell me about the CGM, what's it called? Continuous glucose monitor.
Yes.
Yeah. And who needs to have them?
Well, I mean, if you've got any metabolic health conditions, if you've had a blood test with your GP and been told you're pre-diabetic or diabetic, it can just give you that fantastic amount of information. It only lasts for 2 weeks. And that gives you 2 weeks of information where you can see exactly what's happening in your body, because how you respond to glucose is going to be different to how I respond to glucose. So, for me, when I went through menopause, my weight increased and I had to get rid of oats and bananas and pineapples and all those sweeter foods, which often people think are healthy. We're told all the time oats are healthy, but actually they're carbohydrates which turn into glucose in the body, and that is a big problem for metabolic health. So for me, that was driving my weight gain, and the HbA1c, which is the blood test marker of diabetes. Every year I took my blood test, it was going up. So I knew that I had to change something because I didn't want to end up pre-diabetic. And obviously my weight had increased and I wasn't doing anything different than I'd done before menopause. So I knew that my body had changed because I was feeling pretty rotten at the time. Those CGMs are very useful for just really dialing in on what's happening in my body.
Yes, I totally get it, because I was there as well, and there you were helping me through that. And you just talked about carbohydrates, of which are sugars. Now, I used to look at the the back of packets and go, oh yeah, that's whatever. I used to look at fat content. How bad is that? So now I think you told me, yes, I think you told me that now, you can don't really try to go anything above 4.5 grams of carbohydrate to sugar. Is that right? Or have I misheard you?
So when you're looking at the label, usually it has a column that says per 100 grams and it has a column that says per portion. So always look at the 100 per 100 grams, go down to the carbohydrates one, and that number, not the sugar one, which is underneath, the actual carbohydrates, and that will give you a number. So for instance, on a sandwich, it's usually about 50 or 60. That means that it's 50 or 60% sugar to the body.
Hell, a sandwich, an everyday regular sandwich.
Yeah, because of the bread.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thanks to your instructions, I've gone gluten-free.
I know. Yes. And again, often when women go through menopause, that estrogen isn't there protecting our gut anymore. So we often react to a lot more foods. So gluten is a very common one. I also try to avoid it because I used to be able to eat it, but now it doesn't make me feel so good. So why would I eat it?
Yes. Exactly.
So going back to the carbohydrates, when you're looking at that column, trying to keep it below 10 ideally, but below 5.
10. I can have those moon balls from M&S. They're 7.5.
So below 10, but below 5 is optimal. But below 10 is much more doable, shall I say?
Okay, great. Well, and also, isn't sugar all associated with with osteoarthritis and early onset of arthritis?
It's inflammatory. So any inflammatory condition, where different people are susceptible to different conditions, and any inflammatory foods, gluten, sometimes dairy, definitely sugar, those things are going to make an inflammatory condition worse. So we're always trying to lower those, because when we've got that blood sugar imbalance going on, that causes inflammation in the body.
Right. Okay. Let's just quickly touch on, I need to talk about your too muchness, but I'm just too interested because it's too fascinating, which is why you need to create the Ask Kathleen show.
I do.
Estrogen. How can you replace that, or how can you get that if you don't want to be on HRT?
That's a tricky one.
Not a trick question. It's asking for a friend.
So there are some estrogen foods that sort of increase estrogen in the body. So beans, lentils, some things like that can have an estrogen-like effect in the body. But for some people, it just doesn't work. So, essentially eating healthily, eating a whole range of foods, making sure your gut health is really healthy, that can really be helpful. But the soya type foods, which we've again been told previously that we shouldn't have, are actually quite good for us. So tofu, tempeh, edamame beans, those kind of things that are the healthy soya, not soya milks and things like that, which are a bit more processed. Those can be estrogen-like foods. Whole grains.
Whole greens.
Whole grains, but whole grains are tricky because then we're looking at more gluten, oats, those kind of foods. So it very much depends on the person, really. But what I would say is just having a wide variety of foods in your diet, whole foods, trying to avoid the ultra-processed foods, is going to improve your gut health. and that's going to help your body to produce more of those estrogens. But essentially, you know, HRT is a tricky one because we have lost our estrogen, we've lost our progesterone and our testosterone, and we are going to feel the effects of that. And for some people, they can cope without HRT, and for some people, they find it really difficult.
Poof, blimey, it's the right old minefield. No wonder you're getting into the press all the time, by the way. Let's talk about your press coverage that you've secured and the fact that you are a self-confessed introvert. And you said, I don't like all this getting into the press business. Then the other week you said, I'm addicted. And then you've got into, just tell us where you've been in.
Oh, gosh. So I first got into the Times. I first got into the local paper, so the Basingstoke Gazette. Yes. And that gave me a more, I don't know, it was a little bit addictive. I thought, oh, I quite like that. So then I got into the Times, the Daily Mail, the Saga magazine twice, Yahoo News. And then actually, I might have gotten another one today, so I'll have to update you on that one.
You keep this under your hat. I need to know all the links.
It's never coming down all day. And that causes insulin resistance. And that is diabetes, essentially. So you need those gaps between the meals. And a mint tea is perfect because there's nothing in it other than water and a bit of mint. So that's not going to have any effect on your insulin levels.
Oh, that's so good to hear because, I love my mint tea. And it was hard to give up. Number one, I gave up milk in my tea. Then I went to oat milk. And then you said, it's quite carbohydrate-y, which goes to sugars. And now I use this brilliant powder, oat milk powder called Overheard. Is it called Overheard? Yeah, Overheard. I think it is. Anyway, it's amazing. And it's really low in sugar. Right. So that's that. But I want to touch on your too muchness. So what is your too muchness that has become your superpower?
My too muchness is, well, I had a long think about this because there were different things. But, essentially when I was younger, I was called the bossy one in the family. But I think that made me an introvert when I became an adult because I was the eldest child. So I was always telling my siblings what to do. So when I went out into the world, I think I felt like, I don't want people to think I'm bossy. So I think that made me quite an introvert. But now I would say in my business life, like when I become really passionate about something, like at the moment, the last few years, metabolic health, because I've gone through the menopause and I've seen the impact that it's had on my life. And now I want everybody to know. And now sometimes probably people get a bit fed up with me going on about it. But actually, I think we all need to know about it. So I'm just going to keep going.
Yeah,
just going to keep going.
You keep going being too much. And I think it's the ripple effect. So I had this pre-diabetes that's now been reversed or stopped because I've stopped my marmalade addiction. And I've told friends about it. So they're making changes. So through me, it's ripple. It's brilliant. And then, of course, getting into the press, which is going to help those readers. So I think, you need to carry on banging that drum and telling us all about it. I remember when you were preparing an email, you're doing an email pitch once and you signed it off, or I asked you to, maybe you didn't want to sign it like this, angry from Basingstoke. It was all about
yes.
Do you remember the story? What was the NHS doing?
Well, I mean, they actually pay for people to go on Slimming World, which is the bane of my life. I literally had a client yesterday who's been going to Slimming World, and it's so difficult to change people's mindset about food when they've been told that some of the foods are sin foods. It drives me crazy. And the NHS, our taxpayers' money, is paying for that. So that really riles me.
You need to, now you've got all these contacts in the press, can we do another angry from Basingstoke, from registered nutritionist and rural nutritionist to Amanda Fitzgerald? Because I think it's really important we hear about it. Because also, doesn't Slimming World doesn't it have all these packaging, all these processed foods?
Yeah, which are low in fat and low in calories, but high in sugar. I mean, it's a perfect business model. I probably shouldn't say that, but it is. It's not going to work.
Yes, so you should be, okay. So Slimming World fans, please speak to Kathleen because she can really help you. She's helped me. And also what I was going to say was, so I do a lot of sport. Can you see I've got my guns and all the rest?
You look amazing.
One may look amazing, but what's going on down below? I thought, I'm super healthy. I can eat my, I haven't got a beer belly or whatever you call it, a wobbly belly or anything like that. But I'm eating my marmalade and all that sugar. Then I have a milky cup of tea. Oh, and I might have a quick chocolate biscuit. Oh my God, my diet has so changed. My daughter now
Good.
calls me almond mum. So all I have, like, have you heard of almond mums? Apparently it's
No.
when it's like helicopter mums. So you say, don't
All right.
have that, it's too bad for you. But I literally have almonds, I have macadamia nuts for my cereal, and I have milled linseed, which I mill
Seed.
myself.
Well done.
And then I put, I mean, I will confess, you're probably going to tell me off. I went shopping yesterday actually, and there's a big punnet of strawberries. And so I bought that. Is that really bad?
No,
Fresh
no.
strawberries to put in my cereal?
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, so many benefits to fresh fruit. And it's 80-20, but actually fruit is, great. There's lots of reasons to have that for our gut health, but it's about not having them on their own. So trying to have them with some protein with your yogurt or whatever you're having.
Actually, I had them last night when I was packing away the food, and I had them on their own. So, oops.
Well, 80-20, 80-20.
80-20. Okay. Well, Kathleen, it's been brilliant speaking, and I can't wait to see your show. We're going to start promoting it. It's called the Ask Kathleen Show. And I think you need to get people like me who've got queries and answer our questions and share the knowledge and start helping more and more and more people that you are already.
I'd love
So
to.
thank you so much. It's been
Thank
brilliant.
you. Yeah,
You.
no, it's been really fun. Nice to
Thank
see
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.